An introduction to the topic as well is, what are firewalls? In essence, firewalls are network components that act as kind of like a gateway or some kind of barrier between the external network, that is the rest of the world, and your internal network. All computer systems need to communicate over network connections, so to monitor and kind of control what is allowed in and out of your network, it makes a kind of border gateway between your internal network and your external network. This seems to be one of the most important network appliances or virtual appliances that you can deploy in a network, as it really is the first line of defense for all types of attacks, cybersecurity wise. Something important to note is the importance of firewalls is because it plays such a crucial role in protecting the organizations from a lot of different types of threats. Most types of threats are not physical threats, which means they don't attack networks directly on their infrastructure, physically having access to them. They attack them virtually through these kind of network connections that firewalls are meant to help protect. So why do firewalls matter? Well, firewalls matter for a lot of reasons. Since everything is interconnected in the public domain, that is the internet or the web as you know it, there is basically an omnipresent threat that is all over the place. Since everything is able to be reached to anything else globally, in essence, firewalls act as the only primary protection for other networks getting in to your network and either stealing data, modifying data, or just taking down your services. This stands as one of the most important appliances for that exact reason. There are some case studies that we're going to talk about now. These are two case studies that happened recently. One of them is from JP Morgan and one is from Equifax. The background for the JP Morgan case study, and this is all related to firewalls, they had a NGFW that was deployed on their network. JP Morgan is one of the largest financial institutions in the world. It's a bank that was started a very long time ago, sometime in the 1800s, I believe, but not 100% sure about that. But they did deploy a next generation firewall to stop threats coming onto their network. And what happened was that they did get attacked, and due to the fact that the NGFW was in place, they saw an extremely significant reduction, over 20% or something like that, I believe, in cybersecurity incidents, and allowed them to look at their traffic a little bit better. The NGFW was actually able to stop a numerous amount of different types of intrusions and malware infections and unauthorized access attempts, basically allowing their bank to run a lot more securely. So this was a very good example of implementing something like an NGFW actually has tangible returns in a cybersecurity sense. The second case study is from Equifax. Now, Equifax is a leading credit reporter. So if you ever run a credit score on somebody, especially in the United States, Equifax is one of the three major providers of those credit scores. Now, one of the largest consumers, they had a massive data breach in 2017 due to a critical firewall misconfiguration. They did an investigation into this type of attack, and they had a vulnerability on one of their web servers known as Apache, and it allowed them to basically exploit that vulnerability and gain unauthorized access into where they keep consumer data or people that use their services. Their firewall configuration did not restrict access to their internal systems, which enabled those attackers to actually infiltrate. And after they were able to infiltrate, they found vulnerabilities on things that they could do stuff with that would give them access to what they wanted. So the impact for this was they lost over 147 million individuals' personal information. That is a staggering number of data loss. It is pretty much one of the worst data losses ever. And the breach had a lot of things happen after it, including they had a lot of regulatory committees come to Equifax and basically look into how they were managing their cybersecurity, and found out that they were obviously not doing it enough. They were sued by a lot of people, and they had significant financial losses just due to a misconfiguration that way. I have a question. Are firewalls only applied to networks, or can they be applied to web applications or APIs? Yeah, that's a good question. So Yeah, there are definitely certain types of firewalls. We call them web application firewalls, or there's like not called like API firewalls, but web application firewalls and things like that can also protect your APIs and so on. So yeah, there's a specific type. It's not covered in this context, but we do talk about it. CyberWarrior, we have courses and things that discuss web application firewalls and APIs and protecting them and stuff like that. So that is a good question. They definitely do. There definitely are protections for those kind of things. And then one of the lessons learned from the Equifax data breach shows that it underscored the importance of timely patch management. Basically, patching the internal devices is obviously always a good thing, but more importantly, to configure your firewall and constantly test your defenses and configure those firewalls the correct way, because it was due to a misconfiguration that let them in the first place. It's not excusing that their web applications were out of date, needed to be updated as well, but it still led one thing to another. So two things that were insecure led to a very massive financial loss for that company. So leading to a lot of changes in their company, obviously.